Not my skill set, nor do I want to learn it.
Sometimes, because I put up stuff, which I kind of test
in the wilderness. I don't know if I was the best one to teach them that. However, and although it was a really
that when you said, I was like, oh,
the baby out with the bathwater.
I do know where that.
So for me, rather than doing something half-heartedly or like just half.
hello. Can you hear me?
Good. I can hear you. Good morning. Good morning. How are you doing this morning?
I am so glad that I don't know if it's a vortex or whatever it is with tech, but let's just say that, like we always say, you know, tech is good when it works and it's good when it's not working, because I don't want to say nothing bad.
I know our guest this morning, Amirah and I, we were in the agreement and we were saying exactly the same thing. One of the things for me yesterday, I was on a Zoom. Zoom would not let me end the Zoom. I had to totally shut down my total computer and restart. It would not let me end the Zoom. It was just the funniest thing. And we were just, yeah. And a friend of mine, she's lost 10 days of email.
What? Oh my God.
Just lost 10 days of email. Can't get it back. They don't know what happened. And it's just gone. 10 days.
Oh,
so we were,
no.
So then of course it comes to mind that, and we were talking about this too, is that, you know, what it sounds like say there was, she says, I have no idea what in those 10 days, was there something life changing in that email? I have no idea. There's no way they can't get it back. What if it was something really important, like from the IRS or something and it's kind of like when one of the classes that I was taking, when my dog ate my homework. And this is like last year, and my dog ate my homework, and I had to come to class and say, all right, you know what, my dog ate my homework. Yeah, Barb.
Yeah, we heard that before, but you know, really, truly, he really ate my homework.
It happens, and just all these weird things are going on with tech. So anyways, so how are you this morning, Mrs. Beckley? And I'll tell you my little fun things of the week. I'm a firm believer in telling on it. You know, be authentic. Tell on yourself when you do something that was now is funny. Yeah. But at the time I went, oops.
and what we always talk about too, we learn from it too. So what happened to you?
All right. Well, first of all, let's introduce ourselves, because we get caught up in conversation. I'm Barbara Ellison. You know, so this is Barbara Beckley, and we are the BBs, and you are listening to the Time to Shine Happiness Show. And we're about laughter. We're about just have fun with life. One of the things that I have really realized this week is that we can be happy. You know, you always hear that be, do, and have. You know, we can be happy. We can do life, whatever life is, but do it in a positive way. And so then we can have everything that we could ever possibly want.
Yeah.
And, you know, but it's a choice. Every day we have a choice. So that's what this show is kind of about. It's time to be happy. And for just this little moment, you might not be feeling it. But you know what? Let's do it. Choose to do it anyways. So for me this week, you know, I'm a hairdresser and have been for more years than I care to remember. So I've been cutting my own hair for years. Mm-hmm. So this week I said, I'll just trim my hair, top of my hair. Well, obviously I was thinking about something else, and right here, I went, oops. Went a little too short. So then of course I had to cut the rest to match.
That's usually the case when that happens.
It's a little spikier than normal, but it was just I just cool, laughed. Went, oops.
But Barbara, you know what? You would have never knew, because it looks really sharp. It looks cool. You look hip.
So I am blessed that I have absolutely forgiving hair. even when it's like, oh, brother Barbara, what happened here?
If you would have said anything, I would have been like, it looks cool. I was about to say it looks nice.
You know, and I like it. And the funny thing is that I'm thinking I'm liking it this short.
Sometimes sometimes something that might have been like a oopsie might come out to be something that you might like. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So how are you and how has your week been?
My week's been pretty good. I want to say, because, it's still in that moment of last week I was talking about, because we're in the middle of the year, 2024. And, people now, I think they're in that moment of, oh, my goals, I got to get this done. Did I get that done? Well, I want to tell people that sometimes it takes time to get to where you need to go. And don't get all upset. I told last week, people give them grace if you haven't got anything done. Well, I'm telling on myself now. Like, right? So do it. 2 years, I don't know if I told you this. Now I'm thinking, did I tell you this story? But for 2 years ago, I went to one of my publishers that did that I was in other books about. And I told her I wanted to do a solo, because I said, I'm ready to do my solo books now, because I've been in anthologies forever. So now it's time to do, my solo book. I said, but I want to start with a 31-day journal, like an action-packed journal for people regarding visibility. Of course, that's what I do, right? So she said, oh, I'm so happy, Barbara. Yay, you're going to do it. We were all happy. 2 years, right? And I paid for it. I said, okay, let me pay for it. Let me get it done. So I know that's done. Okay, so now Barbara just has to do the work, and then they have to edit everything. Well, that's 2 years ago, Barbara. I'm just now. Just now.
You mean I'm not the only one that has done that?
No. Just now. So I just told myself, now this is the nice part. So after that, my publisher said, she was like, okay, to the point, she's just like, I don't even bother you about it no more, Barbara. It's been 2 years. You paid for it. When you get ready, I'm here. So hopefully I'm still doing what I'm doing, and I don't win the lottery, or I just get really big and I can't even work on it no more. But, we're in a contract. I said, well, thank you. At least you're still going to be there, even though, I haven't done it in 2 years. So just the other day, I was like, you know what? Forget this. I'm done. I'm done with this. So I took all day Saturday and I completed my draft.
Good.
I completed the whole thing, Barbara, from beginning to end. And I completed. Now I'm just doing a little more tweaks, and I got to send it to her tomorrow. But I am so glad. And the reason, and I want to say all this because there's always a lesson learned and stuff, right? Is that, a 2 year thing. But the thing of it is, remember, it's about the haircut, almost what you're talking about.
Right.
I had another purpose for that journal 2 years ago. Well, 2 years passed. My branding changed. What I do for people's changed. And the whole journal changed. I mean, the whole concept of the journal, the whole title, everything. So sometimes I was thinking to myself, well, maybe those 2 years was a reason, because I had to change out everything anyway. So it came out to be something that took a long time to progress to something that it needed to be, because now I have a series of things that I'm going to be doing with this one journal. I'm going to be doing more books, more series of this topic. And I wasn't even thinking about that back 2 years ago.
Right. Exactly. And, and timing is everything.
Yeah.
Timing is everything. And that's like this morning in my prayer time, one of the part of my devotional came up, and it was like the power of influence. And we're influenced by so many things. But then it was like, well, if there's power in influence, is there influence in power? Are they two separate things? This was my mind this morning. Are they two different things? And yet they're together. So power is, like if you want to exude power, that can be in your stance, it can be in how you handle people. But then if you want to influence people, you can be soft. And we always think of influence as being soft. And yet now if you're an influencer, oh, that's a big thing. You have millions of views on TikTok or Instagram or whatever. And it has just sparked in me, just like, oh, right, Barbara, do you want to be a person of power, or do you want to be a person of influence?
So which one did you decide?
And I believe that, like, for this show, I think we are a power of influence. I mean, we can't make people watch the show, or we can't tell them what to do, and yet we can influence them by how we are.
Yes.
We can influence them by how we are. And you've heard me talk so many times about that. We've been kind of brought up that if we do this, we will have that, and we will become that.
Mm-hmm.
But this goes back to we have to be first. Mm-hmm. What type of person do we want to be? What kind of relationships do we want to have? What kind of communication do we want to have? Mm-hmm. All of those things are in influence, but we lead by example. Or do you want to be known as a person of power, where you are, it's my way or the highway? And once in a while, as a parent, sometimes you have to do that. It's like, well, yeah, because I'm the parent. Okay. But sometimes that happens to people just because I said so. Well, that doesn't always work. Mm-hmm. There has to be a difference. There has to be like power. There's power and authority, but I think there's also power and influence.
Yes.
And so that's where I think where this show comes in. We want to.
I love how you wrote that down, Barbara. That's really nice, because I always, you always hear people, I'm an influencer, or you have, like you said, millions of followers and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But I always look at it more deeper. Like you said, first of all, what kind of influence are you doing? Are you positive or are you negative? Because there's a lot, I hate to say, there's a lot of negative that people are rushing to. And I'm like, okay, I want to be an influencer, but I want to be something that's going to bring the world, to heal the world, bring love to the world. That's the kind of influence I want to be. And for some odd reason, sometimes that takes a little bit longer for people to resonate to than the ones that are going to that drama stuff and all that other things that's pulling, But people, I found out, Barbara, people just like drama sometimes. People like that. And, I keep telling myself, I said, whatever you feed in your mind and your body and your soul, that's what's coming out of you. So you have to really make sure that whatever you're feeding is feeding to you, that it's going to be something that's going to be good to move the needle in your own life in a positive way. So I'm glad that we are part of that positive influence to, like you said, making happiness the norm and not the exception. Because there's a lot of times we can pull, like we always say, we pull to negative quick. Right. We get up early in the morning. As soon as we get up, something coming out of our mouths or out of our minds, something negative already. And we always say, why can't we change that? Why can't we get up and say, oh, this is a nice day. I'm alive. I'm breathing. Hey, I can move my arm, But a lot of times we'll be like, oh, I'm tired. Oh, I want to go back to sleep. Oh, I got to get up. Oh, my feet to the floor. Oh, I got to go to work.
Right.
And on.
Exactly. And sometimes you do have to. I have to admit, yesterday, I have had a really busy week, and there's been just all sorts of things going on. And yesterday it was like, oh, I really want to close my eyes, and just chill out for a few minutes. But then, of course, the saboteurs in your head say, oh, well, you have to do this, you have to do that. And then I went, well, yeah, but am I going to be better for listening to my body? Mm-hmm. And my body was saying, Barb, lie down, get horizontal. I think I was asleep. Yeah. And I very seldom take a nap in the afternoon, but I think I was asleep within 3 minutes of lying down. And I slept like a sound sleep, one of those absolute power naps. But I got up and went, oh, this is what I'm going to, all sorts of things that I wanted to get done. And it was like, oh, wow. Boy, now, I got all that stuff done.
You needed the power nap.
I needed the power nap. And I think that's where influence comes in too. We try to influence ourselves for good or bad. Oh, well, all the shoulds. Oh, I should be doing that. Or somebody else is telling me, oh, I should be doing that. Or, you know what? Oh, well, I've already got all these things on my calendar. Well, who's in charge of your calendar? I'm speaking to somebody here. If your calendar is too full, you're in charge of your calendar.
I love it.
Just say it. You're in charge of your calendar.
Thank you for saying that.
And I have done that where I was like, oh, and then yesterday it was like, Barbara, you have got to, your body is telling you get horizontal. And boy, and I was so much more productive for the rest of the day. Went to bed last night and slept like a log. Obviously needed it. So that's one of the things, your body has influence on you. Listen to it.
Yeah.
So because we are so brought up that to do.
It's like a song in our head.
Yeah, and which is right. And then it's like, well, that is a bunch of do, you know? Because we don't have to do it all. We don't have to do it all. And if you're having a struggle with something, you are in charge of your calendar. And two, if you and I have talked about this for the last couple of weeks. If it's not making your heart sing, let it go. Delegate it to somebody else who does, or let it go and don't do it anymore. So,
yeah. You know what? You have got me so hooked on that I've been saying it in some of my presentations at the end. As if you're not doing what makes your heart sing, then you need to relook at what you're doing. And they're like, people are like, oh, you got a point there. I said, from Barbara Ellison.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you might have to change the melody. Absolutely. Tweak the melody a little bit or add some harmony. Get help. Absolutely. But if you are really stressing about something, let it go.
Well, yeah, because I mean, going back to my 2-year, hiatus, it seemed like with that whole journal, I was just to the point is, okay, Barbara, either you're going to do this and get it done, or you're going to say, okay, that was a loss, like an investment loss, because, I did pay her money to do the publishing. So it was either, okay, you want to lose it or you're going to do this. And then I had to think about it. Okay, why did you decide to do it in the first place? Was it just because you wanted to get a journal out just to say I got a journal? I mean, some people do that. And then I said, I wanted more deeper than that. I want people to really resonate. So why are you not doing it? If it's not, is it making your heart sing? See, it came back to that too, Barbara. I'm telling you, you're in my head. And then I was like, well, yeah, because, all of a sudden I had to talk to myself, write down stuff and say, okay, well, then get it done. Because at the end of me talking and asking those questions to myself, I was like, no, it's time. So that's what got it done. And my heart was singing really hard, really loud after I got it done.
All we have to do is listen. Like one of the things that I'm working on right now, I've been working on my branding, my wellness playroom for the best version of you. And what does that mean? And all the things that goes into that. Well, now I'm at the point, I just got to the point where it's like, okay, now I need a specific identity. Of what? Like the Time to Shine Happiness Show, we are an identity. The Diamond Factor Network is an identity. Okay, so now my wellness playroom is now ready to strut her stuff kind of thing, have the identity of what it is. So I had an appointment yesterday with my branding guy and the girl that he works with to do my colors and to do my logo and all of that. I am so excited. We have a meeting tomorrow to just start working on it. And, and so it's like right now, I'm so excited about it. It's making my heart sing because I'm working on it. But the thing is, it's a work in progress. And yesterday I was talking to a friend of mine. I said, what happens to lots of people? They want to go from A to F in one fell swoop. Get it all done today. Well, you know what? That doesn't always work. Can you go from A to A+? Take one small step.
Yeah. Towards
what you're doing. What's going to make your heart sing?
Yeah.
It just really makes a difference.
Wow. Well, you know what? We're going to make our hearts sing with our queen that's coming on.
You are going to love Amirah. I'm going to tell Amirah, we did a LinkedIn live show together and it was very fun. She brought on a great panel of guests and we had just a wonderful conversation about redefining success. We've all had to redefine success. many, many, many times in our lives. Like I always think of them as our 3 stories. We have our backstory, which is where we were, what we were doing, all that kind of thing. And then we have our decision story. Okay, I cannot go on this way another moment. Something has to change. And that's our decision story. But then we have our pivot story. This is what I did to make the change. And now this is how it's changed my life for the better, for the positive, for the moving forward, to be that person of influence. So now who are you influencing with your new perspective? So that's what the whole show is about. And we had such a great conversation, and it's so much fun to get other people's perspectives, because we've all been there. We've all had a backstory. We've all made decisions that something had to change. What made that? Sometimes it's what made the change. Like you had a health scare. I had a loss of my husband. It was a traumatic thing, but it made us take action. Yeah. So what did we do to take action and pivot?
Yeah, I love it.
It was just fascinating to hear all the different stories. And so
I'm excited because I know that the topic we're going to talk about with her is navigating life's transitions, strategies for success. And this is everybody's topic that can learn from here. So I can't wait to bring on the queen. But before we bring on her, we have to listen to our sponsor, because they're just yearning to, they just want to talk. And I'm going to let them talk. So we'll be right back.
Good Friday, everyone. Your real worth isn't defined by your net worth. What makes you valuable is how you use what you have been given. All of us have gifts. Make sure you're making the most of yours. Have an amazing Friday.
It is now the bottom of the hour. I'm excited to welcome Nancy Matthews to our program today. Nancy is an author of a book. I'm going to go ahead and highlight it in the carousel for you guys. There it is, The One Philosophy. I want to talk to Nancy not only about the re-release of the book, but also what it's been like for her to share the message with all of you guys. Nancy, great to have you on with us.
Hello, hello, hello. So happy to be here.
And we are back. Whoa. So if you're just chiming in real quickly, this is the time to shine happiness show with the BBs. And we have our wonderful, amazing, spectacular queen, as I call the ladies that come on our guests, Mrs. Dr. Amirah Hall. Did I say that right?
You did. Thank you. And my crown is on fire light with the queen presence. I love that. That's so sweet.
You're the queen.
Thank you. Yes. Such a pleasure being with you ladies. I was just chomping at the bit backstage. There were so many things that you said that were just so on point. And so thanks for hosting this.
We are in our fifth year. Little did we know. Little did we know. All right, Barbara Beckley. I was telling Amirah that in the first year you had planning that you were going to leave me, and then decided that you couldn't.
Yeah, that's sweet.
That's a milestone story. That is the story that will live on. I'm telling you. But I'm so glad I made a different decision on that. Basically going right into what you talk about, Doctor, about navigating life's transitions. So I had a transition to my mind to say, this might be a good thing. What am I running for? And Barbara helped a lot.
Don't you think sometimes
5 years in,
we don't often realize until we get into something that we're going to actually like it. right? We've got these precepts in our mind, preconceived ideas of what we think it might be. But all along the way, we're shifting and changing. And when we step into it, all of a sudden it's different. It's like, wow, I never thought it would be like this. So congratulations.
Yes.
I really want to celebrate your book, and congratulations on getting the draft done. That's really awesome. And I this might sound like I'm trying to one up you, but just to that note, I know there's a lot of people that beat themselves up for not doing the thing that they said that they were going to do and accomplishing that goal. I actually did my doctoral work in 2003, and I only finished the final dissertation last year. 20 years, Barbara. I have a 0 on my 2. But yeah, so I can completely relate to what you were saying. And in my mind, I kept saying, well, I've done the work. I'm walking my talk. I'm doing everything I think it takes. I didn't need that PhD behind my name. I wasn't, and maybe I was resisting it because I saw other people as maybe showing off or trying to be bigger than me, or I don't know what my internal thing was, but I resisted it. And so when I got over myself and just went, this is a box that I need to check just to fill that list of, okay, this is unfinished business.
Right.
It was incredible. It was incredible surprise. Maybe there's not, fireworks going off, but it's good. It's done.
Mm-hmm. It's so when we have loose ends, that's one of the things a friend of mine one day, it's like, if you have loose ends, it just comes back. And it's like an unfinished something. It's an unfinished something. And it's like, ooh, what is that that's nagging at me? And it's an unfinished something. And it can be a book. It can be, and it doesn't matter what time. It can be something from 20 years ago.
Yeah, it sure was. And you said the key word, time. Yeah. Timing is everything, isn't it? And we're so linear, and we're so locked into, I got to finish this week, or it's got to be today, or I think letting go of that notion is also helpful, because I wasn't attached to it, and yet I know me, I'm not a procrastinator for the most part, but yet there was some huge resistance that I had to get over or even let go of to just, check the box. I think timing is everything, and not being attached to it at the same time. I mean, it's a fine line that we need to dance, I think. Knowing when, maybe listening and trusting our intuition might be the better thing, right? I just had to do it last year. I knew, I felt the window open. It was like, go time. This is it. Do or die. Right, Barbara? You can probably relate to that.
Yes. And I love what you said, Queen, about the timing and things change, because when I look back, when I first was going to do the journal and I, went to the publisher, basically she kind of told me, because she's seen what I was doing, especially about purpose. And I'm always helping people with their purpose and then visibility. She said, you should do a purpose journal. You should, and then it was all of a sudden I was thinking, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. She came up with this concept. I didn't. I just got caught up in the whole, like, ooh, you're right. Maybe I should do that. And I was thinking, oh yeah, she said, because you could just put it out there and people know you and you could sell it purpose. And, she was just going on and on and on. And I kept thinking to myself, as I looked back, I was like, she was all charged up. Her heart was singing for me for this, but my heart wasn't singing all the way. But I was getting into that. She was influencing me. Okay. This is what about earlier. Right. And I think that was one of the reasons why maybe it took as long as it did, is because it really wasn't something that was probably being in me to say, I want to do it for this reason. And that's why I changed. I mean, the whole concept, the journal, everything, total flip-flop to my new brand that I do right now. So sometimes, you got those cheerleaders behind you saying you should do it, but then maybe it's not that time, or maybe that's not even what you want to do, but you're just kind of honing into, okay, well, they said it, so maybe, And then somebody told me, well, something in the back of my mind said, okay, Barbara, okay, if somebody told you to jump off a cliff, would you jump off with it? So I had to think about that. I was like, yeah, no, I need to see that this is my thing and not just her trying to, interject in it.
Your spiritual goal. Yeah. And your soul's need to fulfill and check that box. I think it's very common in our society, and not only our society, around the world, is we do things because our parents think it's a good role or a job or career path, or they say, oh, you'll make a lot of money on this, or don't be an artist or a writer because you're going to be a starving artist, or I see this day in and day out of people absolutely miserable doing what they do. They might be good at it, they develop some great skills, but their heart isn't resonating with it. So whether it's a book that you want to write, or maybe it's our ego that says, yeah, I should write a book, then I'll be famous, right? I was going against it with the PhD. It was like, no, I don't want that. It's crazy how, and I think getting authentic, I think, Barbara, you mentioned it, well, your power of influence. And I think being authentic is a natural power in its, people can feel that. People resonate with it and they want that. I think we all want that. We want to be true to our soul and our calling, or whatever that might be. My perception is that we're here on that journey to find out what that is. It's a big old scavenger hunt.
I love it.
Tech problems and days that feel like sludge. I don't know about you guys, but Tuesday was a little better, but Monday it felt like I was walking through sludge. And I made a couple comments to other people, on LinkedIn, and they were like, holy shit, I'm dragging. What the heck is this?
That was me yesterday. I took a nap.
It was just so intense. So we take it personal and we think, oh, I'm screwing up again. I'm procrastinating again.
I was like, no. Yeah, I was beat. That's okay, Barbara, stop. I had to do that too. I'm like, stop. You're beating yourself up again, and you wasted the time do the beat up. So you need to make a decision. And that's when I said, okay, Barbara, what are you gonna do? People say, what you gonna do? You're gonna finish it, or you're gonna say, move on? Because like you said, doctor, I had to get closure, too.
You got neutral to it too. Yeah. And you made an executive decision. Am I going to do it or not? I mean, it's clear. There's no emotion to that. But before that, you were all wrapped up with, oh gosh, what does it mean? It's her idea. And then that's a good question, though. You maybe didn't do it until you could feel it yourself.
Yeah. It took 2 years to figure it out, but
time in the universe, it's infinite. We made up time as a concept anyway.
Right.
It's just a human concept that's made up. Think about this, guys. And this really kind of goes down a rabbit hole. I'm not sure we want to go, but I have to keep reminding myself that I'm a multidimensional being of light. Like a diamond, all those facets. And how complex are we? And shimmer. Are we shimmering or are we dull? Do we got a fingerprint on that shine? And it's just not glittering. And so we polish it up. And I learned some tools to do that. That's how I keep my shine. It's not always there, I promise you. I have days like Monday, like, oh God, 2 cups of tea and it's still not kicking in. It's like, what do I do?
Exactly. And you know what? First of all, that was amazing. You dropped the mic on there when I was like, oh my God, that sounds so good about the diamond.
What do you do to keep your shine?
Yeah. Ooh, that's good.
Yeah. And we all have to discover that for ourselves. For some people, it's go for a walk in nature. For
grounding.
Some people,
I was going to say grounding, Barbara.
To ground yourself. Yeah. It's like this morning, right after the show, I'm going out to visit a friend of mine, and I said, you know what? I'm going to stop in my yard and take my shoes off. It's a nice day here in Chicago. I'm going to stop in my lawn and take my shoes off and just get grounded. And it's like, and that's where we are talking about it. It comes full circle, full circle. And that's where influence comes in. This morning in my prayer time, it was like talking about the power of influence. And it was like, ooh, that's exactly what we need. We need to decide, and we need to decide what kind of influence we want to have. Do we want to have that power influence that's kind of can be a little bit more on the negative side? Or do we want to have that the influence that's soft, that just, oh, let's make a difference in the world?
And it takes sometimes, like I see a lot of people challenged these days. There's a lot of uncertainty around us. So those are actually the two key things that you just mentioned that I help people with is first step, grounding.
Yeah.
Letting it go, stepping out of the spin, right? And stopping that chaos for just a minute, for a second. Nanosecond, if that's all we get. And then it's finding that clarity, right? How can we make a decision if we're not clear and we're stuck in a spin cycle? We can't. And then we will most likely make a bad decision or just revert to some old patterns, going back to a bad relationship or thinking we'll just go back to that horrible job that we hated because it just pays the bills, but we're killing ourselves. I know I have a client that actually was just working herself to the bone and to death, and she developed breast cancer. Oh. And worse yet, after working for the same company for 13 years, she ended up having a double mastectomy. This was last December.
Wow.
She took 2 weeks off for recovery, which to me, I don't know that type of surgery, but it seems to me 2 weeks isn't very much.
Is it not enough?
It's not enough. Yeah. In my book, she took 2 weeks off and she went back to work. And what did they do? What was her reward?
Oh no. Don't tell me they fired her.
They canned her. Whoa. She went to bed for 3 months feeling so depressed.
Oh, wow.
And so it's all that negativity. What she was thinking she was doing the right thing, right? She was working herself and doing more. I don't know that she may have loved the work, but she didn't love the company and the environment. And so we have to stop the spin and really get authentic, like your journal, right? What are we passionate about? Getting clear about it and saying no. By the way, she's doing fantastic. She's had some interviews and she's rocking it. She is so happy that she's just shining bright like the diamond.
Yes.
And she's completely turned that around. Why? Because she let go of all of those pictures, I call them, or beliefs or ideas where she got herself there. And she's dedicated to, hey, I made a choice. Did I want to keep killing myself? Sorry to say, but we do that.
Yeah, right? We do that.
But we do it.
I've done it.
Yes,
and we just keep doing things because, we got to pay the bills, right?
Yes. Wow. I wanted to just tag back a little bit when you talked about grounding. And that to me is every, like you said, second too, everyday thing about grounding yourself. Because just yesterday, I know I was, because I work I have my own business and I have a corporate job during the day. And I had this meeting with management, and it was a one-on-one we do every week. And I wasn't really feeling warm and fuzzy about it. And it was weird because something was pulling at me saying, why does this doesn't feel, something's not right. You know how you're in a meeting or you're talking to somebody, you just feel like something's not right. And it wasn't nothing like bad or anything that was happening or anything. I just didn't feel peace.
That was your spidey senses firing off like something's somebody's going to drop the shoe.
That's what I felt like there was a shoe to be dropped. And I even asked, I said, is there anything that, I need to know, or you need me to do something? Like, oh no, we're good. We're all good. You're good. I'm good. And I was like, that doesn't even sound right. So we got off the phone. So I still felt, it was like I was here. I was at a high, get on the call. I went whoop real quick because I just didn't feel anything. So I was pushing myself to, keep going and, working. And I was like, I stopped. I said, you know what, Barbara, you can't do anything. You need to take your break now. You need to take your lunch break right now, or that 15-minute break. And you need to get away from this computer. You need to get away from all this. Go another room, because I work at remote most of the time. And go another room, maybe turn on something funny or something. And I did. I turned on something that cracks me up all the time, a show, and I had to get back to that level again.
Good because I went all over
that. Yeah. And by the time I got done with the funny show and everything, and the hour passed because I did my lunch early, I came back and then I was rocking and rolling again. And that's why when you were saying grounded, I said I think we need to do that all the time, because you never know what's going to hit you while you're on this journey. And you have to tell yourself, okay, this is self-help right here for you. What are you going to do in this situation if you have that? Now, sometimes you can't do an hour, right after a meeting, whatever. Somewhere you got to do the OSHA moment for maybe 2 minutes, and then say, okay, let me get centered again, grounded, and then move forward.
Right. Yeah. There's, Barbara, I love your idea of going out to nature. I have my miracle walks almost every day. But, if we can't get outside, what can we do? I teach my clients to ground from the base of their spine. So you can just imagine a laser beam, or I like a USB wire, and it's got a magnet, and I just hook it up at the base of my spine and drop it into the center of the earth. All of our electrical appliances have 3 prongs. It's that third prong in the outlet plug that is a grounding wire. And so if there's a burst of energy or a setback, or like you were sensing something was off, somebody's not telling you everything, or there's maybe a lie that they're telling you, you were picking that up. So, or maybe somebody just got bad news that somebody's in heart surgery or something, right? So we're all empathic. Energy's always moving around. And so how else can we do? So if we're grounded, that energy coming at you can go right through and go to the center of the earth safely. So you don't get jammed up in the body. You don't get an ache or a pain. Because I believe, and as a clairvoyant, I can see when energy gets stuck, that creates pain. It creates dis-ease, dysfunction. So something's going on. Gee, all of a sudden I got a headache. What happened? Somebody's energies got stuck there. So if we have some techniques or tools that we can use, and then on the go, we might not have a 2-minute OSHA moment, right? We might we might have to go to the bathroom and do it, but whatever works, we got to do.
Whatever works. Like you said, Queen, whatever works. Because I had one time say, okay, I got to go run to the bathroom real quick and do that.
Yeah, I got a time out here with all the things that are going. The other thing that I teach is, imagine a symbol. Like if we're considered energy and we have a bubble of energy around us, most people don't understand the reason they're so sensitive is that other people are barging into their aura, or their aura is so, flimsy, that it's being permeated by foreign energies. So one of the steps that we take is imagine a symbol. I like to visualize a rose on the edge of my aura. It can be any symbol. Maybe I drop an essence of myself in that rose, so people think that's me. So it's a little bit of a trick. It's like a psychic game. It's a decoy. So that person's energy, whether you're on the phone or you're in a meeting in person or at let's say a concert or a baseball game or something, anybody else's energy is going to go into that symbol. So you don't come home feeling as flat as a pancake or as wrecked like you went into that board meeting or the conference. It's like, oh, I go in there, I've got my armor, not my armor. I don't want to say that, because I think there's a false sense of security when we think we've got armor, especially if the true nature of energy is always moving.
Right.
Does that make sense? And it conjures up more fear that we don't do well with. Fear stops the energy flow.
Right. Yeah. It's like with me, when I think of it as like my personal space, and some people can get into your personal space and you're perfectly fine with it. Other people, it's like, ooh.
But at the end of the day,
and you automatically back up from it because there's something, and you don't know what it is.
It's prickly, and it feels uneasy. That's what it is.
You feel that it's uneasy, and it's like you can almost touch it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's why everybody's psychic. Everybody's psychic. We are all picking these things up all day long. But there are techniques that we can manage ourselves with. So as we become more aware, I think, honestly, I see many, many more people are becoming increasingly more sensitive.
Right.
And so what we have to do is, first of all, clear what's not us. Like those programs and the patterns, oh, you've got to write a book, or this is what your book should be. That would be somebody else's pattern. Or mom says, everybody in the family is a lawyer, so you've got to be a lawyer, right?
Right.
So we've got to clear some of those patterns. And then when we have more clarity in our space, when we really understand the nuances of our own energy field, talk about power, talk about influence, talk about manifestation and success, because then, and it's a soul level success, it becomes authentic success. You're not trying to, putting on the Ritz, as they say. You're not playing a game.
Yeah, playing the game.
Right. Right now I'm taking a class on exactly that, of getting into ease and flow. And I am so enjoying it, because it's something that I've been feeling for a while. It's like, oh, I just want to do things that are authentic, and this is what this show is about. And I want to be me. And if you like me, then great. If you don't like me, well, that's okay too. We don't like everybody, and not everybody's going to like us.
Exactly.
And yet our brain, we're brought up that, oh, well, they don't like you. Well, what's wrong with me that they don't like me?
Well, because at the core, we all want to be loved.
We all want to be loved.
We are love, and we want to be loved. And then we block our love to share with others, because why? We've been hurt, and we've been rejected, and we've been either ridiculed or, dominated in some way. So like I said, it's a big journey. It's a scavenger hunt, trying to find ourselves, right? And to navigate the uncertainty of all of this. And I talk about consciousness, raising that awareness, consciousness of our presence and the true power. And it's blinding. The light is so incredibly bright. And I think there's also a fear of really getting in touch with that, because well, what does that mean? I have the power. It's not a Hitler power. Just relax. It's not the Queen of England power. Just relax. It's just true, authentic joy and love. Right. I love too what you said, Barbara, about getting into amusement and watching something funny. That's a very high vibration, and it's amazing how you instantly healed yourself, and without even realizing what you were doing.
Yeah. Because it was so like, it just was taking over. And I was like, wait a minute. Up to the point where I didn't want to even do no work. I was like, I don't even want to look at this work right now, because something just flew. So I said, okay, Barbara, because I was like, you know how you try to push yourself? And I was really trying to push, and everything was kind of like not flowing. And I was like, okay, this is not going to work. I'm not getting nothing done. Let me get away from this. So and you have to know those times to do that.
You do.
And if you're really pushing through it, that's where, like you said, the bathroom break, the 1 second Usha moment, as I tell people, to center yourself, whatever you have to do for yourself. Right. Because I would have been wasting time trying to push through another 3 hours of work. And
going to the cupboard and getting a chocolate bar or a whole bag of popcorn or something, right? Because that's what we do, is we'll stuff ourselves because, this energy feels so weird, and we don't know, we're not conscious of why we're doing that. It's not us. It's somebody else's energy. I've gone to the store, bought butter pecan ice cream or Rocky Road, and I'm like, why the hell did I buy this? I don't even like Rocky Road. It's because of somebody else's energy. That I'll get on the phone with a client and go, do you like Rocky Road ice cream? Yeah, I love it. I'm like, it was your energy. I mean, again, it wasn't super negative or anything. It was just permeating, and it's so subtle. It's so subtle. It's like a waft of perfume, that comes over us.
I'm laughing at that because I do this a lot. I need this. I don't know why this happens, like you said about the ice cream and stuff. So I go to the store sometimes, it depends. Like I tell you, if you're going to the store without a list or whatever, be ready to pick up stuff that maybe you shouldn't pick up. But I always pick up something. I looked in there, I was like, when I was getting close to checking out, I'm like, why? And I would pick it up and say, why is this in here? And then I would like to go back and put it back. I said,
it's kind of like an out-of-body experience. It's like, but really, that's how powerful everybody's energy is. We don't even realize how somebody else's energy is impacting us and influencing us I mean, the grocery bill is a good reflection of that, right?
Right.
And to the point, one time I was at the grocery store and I seen like 3 other people getting this one. It was some kind of cookies or something. They looked okay, and they were all getting these cookies. I said, "Ooh!" And then all of a sudden I felt I grabbed the cookies too. And then I was like, "Okay, you can't even eat this." The bad part about that was I'm allergic to chocolate. Why would I get chocolate chip cookies? Why am I even reaching for this? Because everybody else. It was so crazy.
So you know how Flip Wilson used to say, "Well, the devil made me do it," you know. But the devil, but you remember that? Yeah. I mean, I know I'm dating myself, right? But I used to love that. And the truth of it is, it's foreign energy. Call it the devil. Just call it foreign energy. It's not you. You picked it up, and you're so sensitive. You're an empath. And so as empaths, we have to be diligent. We have to start learning to clear that energy to really be authentic. If we want to have the courage in these uncertain times to make the transitions, whether it's a death or I had a near-death experience myself, well, you know, and my career fell apart, everything fell apart. You had a health issue. So we have these situations, we have to have the courage to move through them when they're the worst of the worst.
Yes.
So if we're not clear, or maybe these are the things that help us get clear, right? Because obviously they whack us to pay attention.
You're right.
In my case, it was
yeah. But I think it starts with I love the fact that you talked about it's for me, it's about being aware. To start the awareness. Some people are not
even a chicken or an egg issue. Is it a chicken or egg though? I don't know that I became aware until I was in so much pain. And then I have to start digging myself out.
You have to start thinking of it. Yep, exactly.
Yeah. And that's unfortunate because we're silly humans. Yeah. We need things the hard way, right? Before we're really going to get the lesson.
Yeah, that happens. Just it happened to me with my health scare a month ago. That it took that point, and me and Barbara talk about this all the time because she's in health and wellness, and she's helping me with that part too. It took to me to get to the point of being in a hospital and basically having clogs run my lungs to tell me, blood clogs around my lungs to tell me, okay, Barbara, this is nothing to play with anymore. You need to just like I did with the journal. It's like, what are you gonna do?
Homework.
Yeah. And then when a doctor comes to you, he said, you could have died. Okay, there's no sugarcoating with this. I mean, it gets to the point in your mind, somewhere you got to say to yourself, like you said, Dr. Queen, that this is it, and it's bad that it gets, sometimes, like you said, it gets to that point. Sometimes people can get it earlier where it doesn't have to get to that point. But then sometimes it does get to the point where you have to make that big, epiphany change.
Yeah. If we don't, something will knock us down so that we do. Yeah. And pay attention.
Yeah. And that's why I love you and Barbara and everybody that comes in positive and always talking, being a good influence. See, we're coming back to influence, to make sure that we're not, first of all, we're not alone. Give us hope and make sure that, we're moving in wherever place that we're moving to. And you know what? Some people might be running a certain area. Some people might be crawling sometime. Some people might be walking. I always tell people it changes all the time, but at least you're doing something towards it. And that's what I tell people. You're in the race still. You don't have to be that splinter, but at least you're moving slowly. But that's where you're at right at that point in time. So that's what you got to, just understand that and don't beat yourself up.
I think, Barbara E., you said something about being. And it's maybe not a doing that we've got to do something like with our health. Yeah, we make a decision, but it's being different. I'm going to be calm. I'm going to be courageous. I'm going to be present. And I'm going to tune into what is my body saying to me? What does it want today? It doesn't want a chocolate cookie. My mind might want a chocolate cookie and my taste buds might, but so this is an era or a time I think that we're in that is requiring us to be different and to be whole. What is wholeness? For you, it's different than maybe me. And like you said, so well, we're all at different phases and stages.
Yeah. Ooh. Absolutely. Well, Queen, I know I'm looking at time like I just want to keep. I love this conversation. I'm like, I'll just keep going with this. This is so that means we got to bring you back. So usually when that happens, right, Barbara, we always got to bring our Queen back.
Bring her back.
So we just appreciate you, love you being here. Thanks for coming on the Time to Shine. I got to look at this show back and take some more notes because this was amazing. I've learned so much from you, Doctor, and we appreciate you, Barbara. You always bring the best. I just always got to give you so much credit for that. You always bring the best people on our show. So with that, we will see that. Yes. So we will see everybody next Wednesday, same time, same station. And again, as we always say, what you always say, Barbara.
Let's make happiness the norm rather than the exception. Let's choose today. Choose today to choose you. And what makes you happy and what makes your heart sing.
Yes.
So
we will like a diamond and shine bright.
Shine bright. Exactly.
Good Queen. See you next week. Bye.
Bye, everybody. See you next time. Well, goodbye, everybody. And thank you so much for listening to the Time to Shine Happiness Show. I'm your host, Barbara Ellison, and I look forward to seeing you next time where we will have a great guest talking about making happiness the norm rather than the exception. Because we believe that each and every one of us deserves to lead a happy, healthy, debt-free, abundant life, whatever that means to you. So join us again, and please to get reminded, hit the subscribe button or the like button wherever you're listening to us, and we will see you next time. Have a great week. Bye, everybody.